So I have Renato with me again, and today we're going to be discussing the new Epic Games store that was just launched.
Hello.
And
Um,
Renato's my guru that I call upon from time to time.
I have ancient wisdom for gaming knowledge. Also, ancient wisdom is stupid, and don't listen to ancient wisdom. Um, I want to preface this interview conversation by saying that everything I know about this Epic Game Store is from hearsay and very briefly looking at their website. So that's what my information is coming from.
So I will run down the important facts of what makes it different from the Steam store and why this is such big news.
I will
Because
trust that your information is accurate.
So Steam traditionally has always been a 30-70% split. So Steam gets a 30% cut of all revenue, right?
Yep.
And the developer only gets 70%. And
Yeah.
over time, this has been leading to AAA games leaving Steam and being released on their own platform. Like Origin has been doing that, and a few others like Blizzard's always done that.
Yeah,
But
because Origin worked out so well.
yeah, a couple of they've it's been slowly ramping up that AAA games have been avoiding Steam because they don't want to give Steam 30% of the revenue, right?
Well, yeah, because big game companies aren't happy unless they have all of the money.
Exactly. And so what's happened now is and also we know that Steam's been a monopoly for a long time now, right?
Yeah.
From the gamer perspective, it's convenient because you get all your games in one place, but having a monopoly can also be quite dangerous.
Yes.
So Epic Games has come out now with a Steam store competitor, and they've announced that their royalty splitting is going to be a 88% for the developer and only 12% for Epic Games. So that's
Okay.
a bigger than 50% difference.
That's a good way to attract developers.
So it's a great way to attract developers, and then they've gone one step further. So as you know, every now and then on Steam you can get a free game or a free weekend with a game, something
Yeah.
like that, right? But it's completely random when you get a free game.
Yeah.
So Epic Games has done a one up on them in that category as well, and they've announced that you will get 2 free games every month. It's going to
Yeah. Free
be
game every 2 weeks, it said.
every 2 weeks. Yeah, there you go. So
I think that's what it said on
works out to
storefront.
be about two every month. And yeah, every 2 weeks. So it's on a set schedule. So you know when you're getting a free game. It's not completely random. And I mean the royalty split alone, and then they've done one step further because apparently they own the rights to the Unreal Engine, and they get a 5% royalty from any game developer using that engine. Well, they've
Yeah.
said that if you are going to use that engine and you come to Epic Games instead of the Steam store, we'll waive the 5% royalty.
That makes sense.
So if you were giving that 5% royalty and you went to Steam, you're actually losing 35% of your revenue.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go to Epic Games, you're at the 12 no matter what if you're using that engine.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the rundown and why this is such big news. What do you think of the Steam monopoly? Some players kind of like it because you get all your games in one spot, but I think it's healthy to get this competition.
Well, I think the competition's good for the market overall. If the Epic Game Store does prove to be good competition for Steam, it might convince Steam to start cleaning up its act. Because Steam, I mean, there's a lot of good things to be said about Steam, but there's also a lot of crap on Steam. Steam does
That's
not
true.
curate its content at all, and is just flooded with trash.
I've seen
Um,
games that I know were coded and developed within a 24-hour or less period, released on Steam for $1.
oh yeah, Steam's full of asset flips and all sorts of other problems. Um, so if Epic Games, if their store works out, then it could prove the kick in the butt needed to make Steam better. So really, people who like Steam should be happy about this.
And I should point out, Steam also announced recently that they're trying to attract AAA games, and I think it's too little too late. They announced a royalty change that if you have $10 million or more in revenue, they'll give you a 25% cut instead of, or sorry, they'll take a 25% cut, so you get 75%. And then if you sell $50 million worth, which is no easy feat, then they'll only take, or they'll give you 80%.
Yeah.
And that's their way of trying to get these AAA games. But again, even at their, you'd have to sell 50 million just to get the same cut that basically Epic Games gives you right off the bat.
I don't get why AAA games wouldn't just go on Steam anyways. That's more copies of their game that they can sell. And by not going on there, sure, if they went on there, Steam would take 30% of the profits, but that's 30% of something instead of 30% of nothing, which is what they're getting right now.
That's a good point. I've actually avoided downloading some games just because I was too lazy to, get more software on my computer. I just kind of stick with Steam, and I'm not that hardcore.
Yeah.
So
but we're here to talk about the Epic Game Store. And what it might mean for Steam, if I understand the topic of this conversation correctly.
That's correct, yes.
I mean, the store looks good on the surface, from what you've told me, from what I can see. It looks like a good idea. I don't know how they could afford to give away a free game every 2 weeks if it's any kind of like high or mid-priced game. But, it could very well just be something to help them get started that they're going to pull later.
Yeah, I was thinking it's probably just a ploy. They're probably losing money on that, and it's just to get people to switch over.
Yeah. If the Epic Game Store is successful, I don't see it at all overtaking or getting rid of Steam. I see people having an Epic Game Store client and a Steam client, and just using both, and then product searching on both when they want a new game to see which one's a better deal, which is good. It's good for the market. I'm not really a fan of capitalism myself, but when it works, it works.
There is one worry out there. So Netflix was kind of at one point the Steam of the streaming world, where they kind of had monopoly.
Yes, and Netflix was the de facto streaming service.
And now they've got all these competitors coming out, Amazon, and a lot of companies are even creating their own streaming service. Like, I don't know if you heard about DC. DC Comics is coming out.
Yeah, I know. I heard DC was creating their own streaming service, which, as an aside, pisses me off because that's where Young Justice Season 3 is coming on, even though Netflix is the reason they pushed for Young Justice Season 3.
And I
want it on Netflix.
They let it gain pop. Yeah, now you have to, if you want to watch it, you're going to have to pay for your Netflix and your DC streaming, right?
Yeah, pain in the ass.
So that seems to be the trend that industry's going, whereas people are tired of Netflix, taking such a large cut, and they're thinking that, hey, if we go solo, we can make more money. But then all of a sudden, eventually, if that trend continues, all of a sudden you're going to have to subscribe to 10, 15 different streaming services to get the content that you want instead of just one.
Well, it'll be hard for them to actually make that work because virtually everyone who streams videos has Netflix. And Netflix has an entire wealth of content. And so to decide I want to buy more streaming services and not just have Netflix is a hard decision for a lot of people. And you might think there's a similarity between that and what's happening now with Steam and the Epic Game Store, except there's no subscription for Steam. You don't pay money to Steam directly ever.
That's true. That's true.
And you don't pay money, and in theory, you won't be paying money directly to the Epic Game Store. I don't know what their policy is, but I'm reasonably certain if they want to compete with Steam, they have to have a free storefront.
Yeah.
And so people can just have both, and that's not a big deal at all.
I think even it seems maybe they haven't done as good of a job, but it even seems Discord is trying to jump into a little mini Steam, be a little mini Steam competitor as well with their little
I'd
Discord
support that.
store.
Discord rocks. We're
Yeah,
having this
it's
conversation on Discord.
yeah, we are, yeah. uh,
Hashtag not sponsored.
I like Discord's model with the monthly subscription. I think it's kind of cool. But it'll
Yeah.
be interesting to see if they step up their game and then we get kind of 3 top dogs, which I think is enough competition to, keep prices reasonable.
Yeah. I think that'd be good.
And I do think that the Epic Games Store is going to surpass the Steam Store. I think give it a couple of years and they're just gonna rock it, especially if they continue bringing out exclusive games just for their store.
Well, having exclusive games absolutely helps a storefront or a platform. And that's, I don't think Steam has any exclusive games because Valve has been kind of content to just sit on their pile of money.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
with competition, that might encourage Valve to get back into making games or at least licensing games, so that they can have exclusives if there's enough competition to warrant it.
You know what's shocking is we all know how much money Steam's making. They have so much money they don't even know how much money they have. They can't even count it all.
No,
Right? That's how much
no,
money they have. They don't.
it's
Nobody in the
ridiculous.
company even knows how much they have because the number's too high and it keeps climbing every
Yeah.
every 10 seconds.
Yeah, because people keep spending money on Steam and they just sit on their asses and collect. They don't actually have to do any work for it. It's a
And Steam
great
is
scam. No wonder Epic Games wants in on it.
it is a great scam. You're right. And it's actually interesting because they have all this money, but their customer service sucks. It's like
Yeah,
I've
customer
I've
service is
I've
awful.
heard a quote of trying to get a hold of their customer service is like throwing a message in a bottle and casting it into the sea and hoping it ends up where
Well, yeah,
you're where you're trying
they
to
don't
get
want
it to
have
go.
to have people do work because then they'll need to pay them for that.
Yeah, I
And
have
they'd
a
have to take
feeling
some money out of their giant pile.
they're going to end up having to take some losses and improve their customer service and things are going to really start to heat up, I think.
If
For
they
the
want to
better.
meaningfully compete, they will have to actually start spending money again. And it will cost them a bit in the short run, but it could, save them in the long run. And the thing is, if they keep being lax as they have, it might not be the Epic Games storefront, but eventually a competitor will come along and take them down if they don't clean their shit up.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. And this is the beginning works of that if they don't smarten up a little bit. And you know what?
Yeah.
I liked your comment earlier. I think it would be a good idea. Maybe people would disagree, but if they would kind of pre-screen some of the content that gets uploaded and make sure that it's not just a complete pile of crap that was made in 15 minutes or less.
They need to screen and they need to curate their content. And I mean, it'd be a little expensive. They'd have to hire some people, but they need to do something because there's just so much garbage on Steam that it's 90% garbage, and it's still where most people get their games. If somebody else comes out with a platform that is only 9% garbage, then it's going to look way better than Steam.
Yeah, and the other issue is with having all that garbage on there, if you've ever gone in and just tried to randomly search for games in a certain genre or certain, whatever you're looking for, multiplayer or something like that, the trash makes it really hard to find the good stuff. When you have to search through 10,000 games and 9,000 or more of it is trash, it makes it really difficult.
Yeah, it's a huge problem. It's not usually a problem for me because when I don't browse for games. When I know a game, I search up the title directly. But for the majority of people who use Steam, who find their games by browsing the store and seeing what there is, it's an enormous problem to have all these crap games that are just no effort, asset flips, whatever else garbage.
You know what? And you know what? They lose sales because I'm one of the browsers. I'm always looking for co-op games and multiplayer games, and I don't keep up with all the. I can't possibly know every game that's released. So every now and then I'll go searching, and I'm just looking for some hidden gem that was maybe released 5 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever, right?
Mhm.
But it's discouraging, and I don't do it very often now because I know if I want to do it, I have to search through 10,000 games of crap or more, 100,000
Yep,
games of crap before I find a good game.
exactly.
But anyways, I think it's healthy for the competition. And what do you think? Are they going to surpass? Are they going to be the new Steam?
I don't think they're going to displace Steam.
Ooh, okay,
I think Steam is too big to be taken down by one new store,
interesting.
or to be overcome. However, there is something to be said, specifically with Epic Games, because they have Fortnite, they have the Fortnite player base, and virtually their entire player base is going to come to their store. And that's a huge amount of
Hmm.
people with disposable income.
That's true. Yeah,
Um,
especially all for a free game. How much money is that game made, right?
yeah.
On just the skins alone and crap.
So I do think there's a very good chance Epic Games Store will be a worthy competitor. I don't think it's going to overtake Steam. I certainly don't think it's going to take Steam down, but I think it very well could pave the way for future competitors to open their own storefronts.